How's it going, guys? Recently, the Haas put out a video talking about his top choices for home defense firearms. And I thought I would do a video kind of along those lines, but mix it up a little bit and talk more about categories of firearms for home defense. And so I'm just going to go through and show a few different firearms that kind of represent those categories and talk about each one. Now, one of the obvious categories for home defense is the handgun. I really think that you're hard-pressed to beat a handgun for home defense. I mean, it's super accessible, super maneuverable. You don't have the disadvantage of a rifle-length style weapon in close quarters. And it's also not going to be quite as loud as your rifles as well. This one is my wife's home defense gun. I'm super jealous of her because this is hers. This one is rocking the TLR 1S by Streamlight. It has a very bright beam, and as well as it has the strobe feature. And it's, I think, one of the best bang for your bucks out there when it comes to weapons light. Now this is a 40, this is a GLOCK 22C, it's the compensated 40 caliber, but we have it converted over to a 9mm via a Wolf barrel. She's rocking the 124 grain HSTs plus Ps in this. Look at the size of that cavity, guys. Just awesome. But those are 124 grain plus P HSTs, and that's what she keeps loaded in her Glock for home defense. This is also the Project Glock. If you guys are interested in looking at how we built this pistol up from the ground up, go ahead and take a look at the Project Glock series videos. I'll leave a link down below for you. So that's the handgun category, and you can pretty much put anything you want in that handgun category, but I wouldn't recommend going with something too small. I like to keep my home defense weapons somewhat larger, more full frame or service style pistols, just because it gives you a little bit extra to work with in the dead of night, especially if you're not quite 100% with it. You want to be able to have every ergonomic advantage that you possibly can with a full frame pistol. Now that leads us to the next category, which might surprise some of you, but that is the pistol caliber carbine. This is one category of firearms that I think is often overlooked, and I think that I think a lot of people are missing out because they overlook the pistol caliber carbine as a viable option for home defense. Mainly because you're getting a lot more energy out of your round than you would be out of a pistol. These take the same magazines and they take the same ammo, but you're getting a lot more velocity out of the pistol caliber carbine than you are out of the short barreled handgun. And so it turns that gun, it turns this round into more than it would normally be. The other advantage of having a pistol caliber carbine is that you're getting the accuracy of a rifle, but you're not getting the muzzle blast and the wash and the noise from that rifle, especially when you're talking about close quarters or indoor shooting. When you are kind of in an enclosed area, that rifle blast is definitely going to be a lot more of a factor than it would be if you're shooting a pistol caliber carbine. In fact, this gun right here is going to be quieter to shoot than this gun right here. So those are some major advantages when it comes to home defense. Now, anytime you're talking about firing a solid projectile, you are going to get penetration in wallboard. Like sheetrock does not stop bullets very well, and so people are going to say, well, you don't want to use a rifle, you don't want to use a high velocity slug because it's going to just punch through a ton of walls. Well, this one will punch through 8 walls. I think on average the 9mm will punch through like, I don't know, 8 walls of sheetrock. That's if it doesn't hit a stud or something like that. But I mean, that's a lot of penetration. So you need to be aware of that anytime that you defend yourself in your home, especially if you live in like an apartment complex or if you have really close neighbors. You might not want to use a rifle or something that is too high velocity that could cause a lot of overpenetration. Now the next category of home defense firearms might surprise you even more, and that is the .22 rifle, particularly a semi-automatic .22 rifle. This is an example of one. This is the Ruger 1022 takedown model, And this gives you the options of having detachable magazines and of various different capacities. Both of these are standard capacities. This is a 25 round capacity and a 10 round capacity, both of which are manufactured by Ruger themselves. And it gives you the option of reloading as well as choosing different capacity ammunition. What I don't recommend for home defense in this category is a bolt action or a single action 22 rifle. I think that when it comes to home defense, the chances of there being multiple invaders is more likely than not. And so I think that it's important to have the ability to fire multiple rounds. Now I know what a lot of you guys are already thinking. The 22 should not be used to defend your life or your property or whatnot. But I really beg to differ, because the 22, by using the right ammunition, you're gaining a lot of energy. A couple of those ammunitions would be the CCI Velocitor. These are rated to 1435 feet per second out of a rifle length barrel. That's equating to roughly 190 foot-pounds, okay, of energy. That's 38 special territory, okay? How about the CCI Stingers? This is rated to 1640 feet per second with the 32 grain hollow point. Both of these would definitely jack you up if you were hit with them. And I don't think that you would be underpowered at all by having a semi-automatic 22 rifle being used as home defense. Not only that, but you have very little muzzle blast and noise with a 22. You're not going to have quite as much wall penetration as you would with like the 9mm rifle, or even or other rifles for that matter. So the 22 I think is really well suited for the home defense role. Now this one being an 18.5-inch barrel, it's really not that long of a rifle, and it's something that you could still maneuver fairly well inside of the home. The next category of home defense firearms is the scattergun. Okay, this one is a Charles Daly. It's made in Turkey. I'm not sure exactly who it's made by, but it's imported by KBI HBG in Pennsylvania. And this is a great little shotgun. It's very relatively inexpensive. I think I picked up this one for like 170 bucks, something like that. But this would be a great option for home defense. It's got an 18.5-inch barrel. All right, and it's very maneuverable. It is very lightweight. This particular one's very lightweight, but it's just representative of the category. Now, a lot of people think that the best home defense load for a shotgun would be a slug or like double-aught buck. But I'd like to give you guys another option to think about, and that is the number 4 buck. Now, why I like number 4 buck is you're getting 27 pellets versus like 8 or 9 of your double-aught buck, and these pellets are roughly 25 caliber in size. So you're getting 27 25 caliber sized pellets ripping out of that barrel at about 1,325 feet per second. It's going to do a lot of damage, but what's nice about the number 4 buck is you're not going to get as much wall penetration as you will with slugs or double-aught or triple-aught buck, and so I think that it's a little bit more of a viable option for your home defense loads. But the shotgun is by far one of the most popular guns used for home defense. Just do not take any of Joe Biden's advice when it comes to using one. Alright guys, now the last category we're going to talk about is the carbine category. Now I know a lot of you are thinking like, what? But listen, hear me out. I think that oftentimes the carbine is overlooked for home defense because of the power of the round. The 223 or even like in an AK, the 7.62x39, they're kind of in an intermediate power factor, but they're still going to have rifle penetration. In one of the scenarios I do not recommend a carbine for home defense is that of like really densely populated areas, such as like an apartment complex or inner city, something like that. Where I do think the carbine really shines for home defense is in more of your rural areas where your homes are more spread out and or where you might own vast tracts of land or large amounts of land, because as a property / home defense, the carbine's really going to shine. A lot of people that live in inner cities don't realize that people in rural areas sometimes have problems with varmints as well as predators. And so being able to utilize something in a home defense scenario from against maybe like coyotes, wolves, something like that. I've had people that I know of that have had their house attacked by mountain lion. So it's definitely something that can be utilized in that role. But we should not overlook the fact that these can be utilized in a home defense situation as well, inside your home. Now the downside to running a rifle in home defense is that you're going to get a lot more sound, a lot more noise, and a lot more muzzle blast in an enclosed space. So that's something that you need to consider. But what's nice about the AR-15, especially the carbine length AR-15s, is that they're highly maneuverable. And so you have the ability to still use them in a very effective close quarter combat, as well as they give you more options for ammunition carry. So you have the ability to actually have enough rounds to stop or minimize the threat. And I don't think a lot of people stop and consider the defensive capability and properties that, that one of these carbines really offers. Anyway, guys, if you have any comments or questions about anything, any of the categories we've talked about in this video, please go ahead and leave them down below, and I will try to get back to you. Don't forget to rate and share the video with your friends. It does help the video out, and it does help our channel grow, and I really, really appreciate it. And as always, guys, thanks very, very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. See ya. Next category is your airsoft category. Check it. Now to assemble the gun, you have to have your action open, okay? And then what you do is you just bring the two pieces together, line them up, press them in a little bit, give it a twist, and it locks up nice and solid. I did notice that when I first got the gun that the barrel wiggled back and forth a little bit, which kind of freaked me out at first. You have to tighten up this little collar right here, and as you tighten it up,